Hi, Susie here. So I recorded a few videos about recreating an any Porterfield page in Kajabi, just to show people how much you can actually design within the confines of Kajabi. You can make your pages look a lot better than you probably even realize when you're first getting started. But I got this question from Jan Verduin. I don't know. Sorry. But asking, how does website look on smartphone? Are the elements responsive? Mobile responsive? Do you have an example of that? Which I did not cover in that video. So that's what I'm going to do now. And one thing that I always do is you want to design for desktop first, get the page totally finalized, like graphics, copy, everything right for desktop, and then preview on mobile, because you will likely have to recreate some sections or blocks and make mobile only versions. And so you want to get especially like your copy dialed in, because if you have to change something, you only want to change it once, not in those two places. Okay, so finalize your desktop version, and then I will show you how to preview on mobile. And okay, so this is what the page looks like. We're in the page editor right now. So you can see we've got this left-hand side panel where all our elements are. I have the actual page, the live page here, so we can see what it looks like. Desktop version looks great, but I already know that this is going to be kind of a hot mess on mobile. So I will show you what this looks like. So from within the page editor, if you see across the top here, these little icons, the darker gray one is desktop right now. We also have these tablet versions and then smartphone. So I will go to smartphone. People might be looking at your content on tablets, but it's more likely that they're going to be on their smartphones. So this is what I'm going to now optimize for. And also, so we're previewing it here. Like, you're seeing what it should look like on mobile, but I would definitely send a link to your phone and look at it on your phone just to make sure that it's looking good, just like as an extra double check. Okay, so this first section, we have the hero section. So we have that image and then this text block. So two things. You can adjust the mobile layout of the entire section or of these individual elements. So I'm going to show you in mobile layout what we have. So the mobile section padding, that's for this entire hero section. 40 is a little bit too much. See that there's just more spacing at the top than is necessary. So I'm going to shrink this down to 10, and it just tightens it up a little bit there. And I'll shrink this down to 10 also. So that's mobile layout for your entire hero section. But you can also adjust either for the image or for the text block. So let's go into the text block. And this is one thing that I wanted to point out to you. We're going to go and look at the desktop version. So you'll see this text. There's this spacing on the left-hand side. And I did that so that the freebie mockup could go overlaid on top of this text block without blocking the actual text. So where we see that is if you open up the text block and we go down to desktop layout, the inside spacing here is 150 pixels. And then on this side, it's 50. So that's how we get that wide margin on the left. But you'll see that in the mobile version, there is no spacing like that. And that's because if we go down to mobile layout, inside spacing is 0 all around. So that's why it's appearing there with that buffer on the left on desktop, but not on mobile. So we don't have to change anything there, but that's why we're seeing that. Okay, this section is, let's see, freebies and resources is the section title, and then these are all the elements. And on the desktop version, right, we have an image, this half circle, this text block, and then we have, actually, let's go back to the desktop version. right? So we have the gold half circle image, the title, and then these numbers, 1, 2, 3, and then images for 1, 2, 3, call to action buttons, 1, 2, 3, and then this text. So it looks good on desktop. It obviously doesn't look very good on mobile. So what we're going to do is recreate this entire section. So I'm going to start by renaming this section, and I'm going to put a D prefix at the beginning. So this is just our desktop version. That's just the title, the name of it, though. We need to actually make it only for desktop. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go down to mobile layout and click hide section. So this will not appear at all on mobile. Then I'm going to duplicate this section, but I'm going to rename it mobile, or with that M prefix. Go in here, and I want it hidden now on desktop, but we have to go back in here and unhide it on mobile. Okay, so now we have, and I'm going to move it up here. So we have these two sections consecutively. So we have the desktop version we can leave alone because we know we like the way that that looks. The mobile section is what we'll have to clean up. So we're going to go into the mobile view. And there's a lot we have to do to this. Well, number one, this half circle doesn't do anything. That really doesn't help us at all. Okay, so I'm just going to delete that. Next, this title, I'm going to click in there, and I want to see, and if you change it under desktop layout, it has no impact because this entire section isn't showing on desktop. So we're just in the mobile layout. So first, I want to center this text. Okay, that looks better. Next, I'm going to actually go back to mobile layout. And again, it always defaults to 40, which I think is too much. So I'm going to tighten that up. Okay, so we've tightened that up. This is centered. We're going to center these first of all, because it looks ridiculous. So I have one is centered. I'm going to go back. And this is where it's really important to rename all your blocks so that you don't lose track of things. So I have the number 1, and then I want the 1 image, whatever that is. 1, 1, and then the 1 button and the 1 text. Okay, so here's what this now is looking like on mobile. Freebies and resources. Number 1, it's this freebie, your first funnel. Here's the call to action button. That will still work. And then, and you don't have to do anything with the call to action. As long as you've set up the button action, then it'll work on mobile too. I do want to center this though. Center the text here. Okay, good. It took a second. Okay, so this is looking better. It's a little bit, it's a little too vertical, I think. I'm going to see if I can pull down this. I just want to have these elements overlaid on top of the graphic. Let's see if we do -50. That's not great. Let's try this one. And a lot of this is just messing around. Let's try -30. Kind of squish it up on top. Okay. And you can't preview on desktop because we're on mobile. So that's kind of where the because when you preview this page, you can see this animation happening. You can't do that when you're editing it. So that's one reason that you definitely want to be sending it to your phone, to your smartphone. Okay, so we'll switch this down to 20 so that it's just a little bit tightened up. I actually think that looks fine. I'm fine with this. So then we will just want to do the same thing for these other elements. Okay, so we've tightened this up a little bit so that everything's well in the right order, and just all the elements are a little bit closer together. And then we also have these half circles, which look terrible on mobile, so I will just delete those. I'm just going to go back to desktop so you can see nothing changed here. We were just changing things in this mobile only version. So desktop, everything still looks exactly the same. Also, one other thing that I'm noticing here in the desktop version, I have this spacer block, which I put that there because I wanted to be able to control the amount of space between these two half circles. If we go into mobile though, let's see what it looks like. I didn't even notice this. Okay, it's just this little, that's why I didn't notice it. It's just this little spacer here, but we don't need it. It's not necessary on mobile. So because we don't have those half circles. Okay, so I just got rid of that. Okay, so this section, freebies and resources on mobile, looks good. I'm going back to courses. And so this one, you definitely want to add some padding on the inside. We'll go to mobile layout and our inside spacing. Let's try 10 all around. That looks good. You can add more if you'd like. Maybe I'll add 20 at the top and 20 at the bottom. I want, here, I'll show you what happens because I want this button to be centered. So I'm going to do mobile text alignment centered. So now the button is there, but also so is the text, which especially when it's bullet points, doesn't look good. So what we're gonna do is, and there's only one version of this. Remember, we didn't recreate this section for mobile, so this is just the section. So we centered it under mobile alignment, mobile layout. I'm gonna go full screen, and I like where it says 5-week list building course and list builder society. Those are good centered, but I want the rest of this copy to be left aligned. So I'm gonna make this full screen and go to formats, alignment, left, and then exit full screen. Okay, cool. So now the like header part of this section is centered. All this text is left aligned, and then the button is centered. Great. I'll save that. Actually, let's look at the desktop version. So we have these 3 courses that I'm featuring here, and or we can look at it on the live page. And I have them alternating image, text, text, image, and then image, text. Because I just like the way that looks when it alternates like left and right side. Looks good on desktop, doesn't look good on mobile for the same reasons that freebies and resources section really didn't look good on mobile. You're still going to need to create a second version, a mobile-only version of this page because we need these blocks to be in the right order. But I think it'll be more intuitive now that it's just the same process that we did for freebies and resources. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to rename this courses. Go in here, hide it on mobile. Okay. And then duplicate this. Rename. And we want, oops. So this is the mobile one. We want it hidden on desktop and visible on mobile. It's like confuses my brain every time. Okay, now we're going to move this one up and then open up the mobile courses. And so we have this image text block, which is good. And then we want the second one, image text block, and then image text block. So now I have it laid out the way I want it, but I'll have to go back and update the padding in here and the spacing, the alignment to be the same as that first one. That looks good. So I'll do that. Okay, and then finally, our testimonial section. This is probably too big. You know what you can do, though, for this one is, let's go in here. We're opening up the image, and this I'm in the testimonial section, and I am not going to create a separate mobile version. But what we can do is go into this graphic, go down to mobile layout, and add some inside spacing. Let's add like 30 and 30. We could go bigger. 75 and 75. Yeah, so that way you don't have to go through the hassle of recreating it, but it looks better. It's a better size for mobile. I'm also going to, tighten this up. Tighten. And we can do the same thing for the signature here. I'll go under mobile layout, inside spacing. This might actually, let's try if we just shrink. Okay, because that can kind of be on the left side. I think that looks great. What if we do shrink this up a little bit? Okay, that's too much. -30, just to tighten that up. Okay, awesome. That looks good. I'm happy with that. So we'll click save. And then again, just remember to send that link. Oopsies, here I am. Send that link to yourself and look at it on your smartphone. I'll like open up or have it on my smartphone and have it on my computer here and just be like refreshing, like saving my changes and refreshing my smartphone view to make sure that it looks good in both places. So thank you again, Jan, I'm going to say, for your question. And let me know, you guys, if you have other questions, because this is like great. I want to be answering questions that people are having. So let me know. Thanks.